What is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome to Collectors Gone Digital. My name is Josh, and on today's episode, we are back from a little break. I've organized my thoughts, and we're going to break them apart. So let's not waste any time. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. So before we get into some general talking points here, I want to address, why I kind of brought this all up now. And there's two main reasons. The first one has to do with the large concern that I have around the VeVeverse and system requirements. It's just not being addressed, and the only thing I've heard them say is there's certain things they can't talk about until they get released. The second reason why I did this now is because I wanted to capitalize off the community noise. If I brought this up when community sentiment was more positive, I would not have gotten the same response. This has nothing to do with Blackpink, okay? I want to be clear here. This has nothing to do with that drop not selling out. This has nothing to do with the quality of IP or partnerships that VeVe continues to announce. This has nothing to do about my vision towards digital collectibles or quote-unquote delayed gratification, patience, whatever you want to call it. This simply has to do with a concern of mine not being addressed and then me using the noise to amplify more of my concern. Okay, that's it. That's all it has to do with. So when I say I was taking a step back to organize my thoughts, if you guys know me by now, I like to just sit back and observe when a lot's happening. And a lot was happening. My thoughts started to get jumbled, and I said, okay, let me pick them up and organize them. All of this stems mainly from my concern with the VeVeverse, okay? But there are going to be other things I want to address in this video as well, from their social media and ad structure to their responses. I understand VeVe started taking this approach with blocking people now. There are some people in the community who feel like they're walking on nails. And so I want to try and be as respectful as I can in this video, but I am going to be straightforward. I don't want to beat around the bush. And I feel like there's too much of that happening right now. The VeVeverse was originally discussed, presented, explained in phases, and now it's completely secretive. So again, a lot of this stems from the VeVeverse, but there are going to be other points I want to address. One of them is actually something that I've seen mentioned in the community, is understanding the vision. And people are like, oh, people are just losing sight of the vision, they don't get it, blah, 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 blah. This video has nothing to do with that as well. Guys, there's a big difference between understanding the vision and understanding that there's steps that need to be executed between when that vision is an idea and when it actually becomes a reality. You can understand the vision clear as day. It doesn't mean it's just going to poof into thin air right next to you. So my vision around digital collectibles, around the VeVeverse and what you can do with all this stuff, it remains the same. Now, I'm really going to push this. I'm not taking my foot off the gas. Even if the response is, shut up, Josh, you're wrong, I'd rather hear that than the silence we're getting. So right now, I think that silence speaks volumes. We've had several beta testers confirm that their system matters right now. Shout out to 𝗕𝗵𝗍. He actually hosted a space I was able to speak in, and we had people coming up saying that their system wasn't good enough, or it was good enough. In fact, I actually haven't had a single beta tester say that what I'm saying is wrong. Only the opposite. I have beta testers reaching out to me and saying that what I'm saying is spot on. So again, I'm going to reiterate here. This should not be kept from the community until release. And on top of that, this should not be something that VeVe is restricted to talk about, because you guys already have talked about it. So even if you were restricted before, you got permission to speak about it, or you weren't restricted to begin with. So why do you guys go from a point where you're explaining the phases of the VeVeverse to a point where you're more secretive now than when you should be in early development? At the very least, and this was mentioned in the space with 𝗕𝗵𝗍, you should have a one-page article that breaks down a low-grade, medium-grade, and high-grade setup for the VeVeverse. If I go into Steam right now to download a game, it's going to tell me what I need system-wise in order to play that game. And this brings me right back to my point about how we're on the same team. I just don't understand why you guys are shooting yourself in your own foot here. All right, so now that we've kind of preempted some of that stuff, one of the first points I want to address is their social media content, because right now, and I completely understand teams are limited with what they can say and what they can do with the collectibles. They need to get approval. But a potential red flag that I'm seeing right now is that VeVe's signed so much damn IP that they have to now navigate this ocean of what they can and can't do, and it's ultimately slowing them down, because there's so many collectibles, so many comics, artists, backstories, so many things that they can curate content around that they're not curating content around. There's a lack of content for what they have to offer. So going back to my point about how they're getting slowed down, here's a couple examples. They used to do the collector spotlights, now they don't. They asked for feedback. I said, you guys should bring back the collector spotlights. Corey said, hey, that's a fantastic idea. We should do that. Are they here? No. Could they be? Yeah. Has there been enough time between now and then? Yeah. Another one, the community compilation that just got released. That could have been released way sooner. I'm going to toss a video on screen right now. This is when everybody was posting VeVe digital collectibles on X, okay? I asked the community to send me clips and photos of their collectibles that I would turn into a compilation. I released that the same day. Now, Corey probably needs to get approval for that video, right? I didn't. But if he did, that's exactly my point, that this approval process is taking too long, because a video like this should have been released a day or two afterwards. And there's a pattern of them announcing things and then releasing them too late after the hype has already died down. I completely forgot about this video. Now, we're not done with social media content because I want to focus on their actual account management here. I'm really only talking about X here though. Put simply, the best quality content is being ignored while mediocre content is getting reposted. 𝗕𝗏𝗺𝗍𝗔𝗍's video with Pink Panther and Blackpink is one of the best VeVe videos I've ever seen. Not even recently, I'm talking to date. They're tagged in the post, there's great engagement. Do they like the post? No. Do they repost it? No. I'm like, what on earth is going on in the mind of the person managing that account? How do you manage the VeVe account, scroll on the feed, see that video, and not engage with it at all? But then, and I can't really say this without sounding like I'm trying to take shots. I'm not, I promise. I'm not going to name names here. VeVe's retweeting content from creators who have been inactive. And on top of that, there was one that was titled, I'm back. And instead of them reposting that post, they took the link to the actual live stream and made the post themselves. I wonder why. It's not like you want to direct somebody to a post that implies they've been gone. But since I've been involved with VeVe, there's large differences in how the company account is managed between people. There's clearly more than one person that manages it. That makes sense. But the response they've given in the past is, oh, changes are being made internally, right? Roles are being moved around. Changes are always going to be required. Adapting is part of business. So what I can't help but think here is that there's a lack of internal structure. There should be a general outline of the expectations or responsibilities of that role. And if somebody new takes control of the company account, it should not be so obvious. Now, I want to backtrack for a sec because I understand I said something a little controversial there. When you hire somebody, you're hiring them because of their expertise. I get that. You're not there to micromanage or babysit them. You bring them in because they can get the job done. But SOPs should still be put in place to ensure some level of consistency. And right now there's none between the different people who manage the account. David Yu is the CEO of VeVe, and he's busier than the person who's managing the company account and monitoring the community sentiment on X. He doesn't follow me. I don't tag him in my posts. Yet he's more active on my content than the company account who does follow me, who I do tag in all my posts, who also follows a lot of the people who retweets my stuff, yet doesn't engage with any of my content that positively promotes their collectibles and platform. And when I say something like that, I feel like I am putting myself on a pedestal. I don't know the notifications from other people's accounts, but that's why I use 𝗕𝗏𝗺𝗍𝗍 as an example as well. That video was fantastic. How does the company account not repost that? So next up, let's talk about their ad structure. And to make a longer story short, it's disappointing. The main ad, in fact, the only ad that I've seen is on YouTube of this kind of, it's a very traditional promo. But at the very least, here's my biggest criticism. Why isn't Corey's face or MC's face in that video? Why are these ads static images? Not only is it not engaging, but there's no incentive behind the ad. If I click on a YouTube video and I'm being retargeted with a VeVe ad, I want to see an edited video of Corey or MC talking next to a digital collectible. Right now, you guys are using basic banners. The quality of that ad does not reflect the quality of the IP that your company has. So I want to speak a little bit more on this because I think there's actually some more examples that we can speak on as well. The whole, please reach out to me at any time and then telling me you don't have time is annoying, yes. But there's also comments around like, oh, IP doesn't want to mix, or they don't want to allow self-custody, and then it happens. So then you have people like me thinking, okay, is that the actual answer? So with regards to the comment around IP doesn't want to mix, I can load up Fortnite right now and shake Boba Fett's ass to Cardi B. Make that make sense. We're talking about one of the most highly sought after collectible characters belonging to one of the most popular and successful film franchises ever, dancing to a song from a mediocre artist who has openly promoted the mistreatment of men to her young and impressionable audience. Tell me how those two things go together. On top of that, you're managing a platform where the IP is already mixing. What are you on about? It's the same thing with self-custody on Cryptoys. There are things being said where the actions don't fall in line with the words. What's even more frustrating about this is I know that there's team members watching this video that are probably upset or frustrated or irritated because they want to be able to say certain things. And they've signed an NDA, or they have their boss on them right now saying, hey, don't speak with that person, or don't speak with that person, or don't mention this and that. I've worked in companies where you're restricted with what you can say, and those restrictions affect your image as well. I get that. And I'm sure that applies most to people like Corey and MC. But the way that certain things are being handled and addressed right now is going to make this a snowball effect, and that's going to affect everybody. The users who are frustrated, as well as the team members who are frustrated, and it's just going to get worse. It might also be a situation where the IP actually said this to VeVe, and the next thing you know, the IP turns around and does something else with another platform. But VeVe can't go, oh yeah, Disney told us this, because they can ruin their relationship. I recognize that there's a bunch of different things that could be happening here. But unfortunately, the downside of creating a strong community is that it works in both ways. If they're happy, that's a great thing for the business. If they're pissed off, it's a bad thing. So after I mentioned I was going to be taking a little break, I have been still monitoring social media, and I did notice that some other people have kind of taken a step back as well. I just want to kind of address mentality, like protecting your own mentality, because I do think that there's a lot of unnecessary attacks and just like threats being made to certain people in the community. And I think it's just ridiculous. At the end of the day, guys, your mentality matters most. Like myself, I filter my following. I went into my following list and I unfollowed a bunch of people. Okay, people that I feel haven't supported me, haven't reciprocated in any way, people that I've tried reaching out to in the past that have pushed me away. I said there's no reason to have them around. Now, I've had some people pick up on, and they've said this to me, that I'm kind of that content creator in the community that stays in his own lane. A lot of that is done intentionally, right? I'm very selective with who I choose to spend my time around. In the group that I chose is VeVe. This is a group of people who value me most for what I bring to the table. There's a video that I came across a number of years back, and there was some successful entrepreneur that said this. I can't remember who it was, but they said that if you take a water bottle and you place it in, let's say, a convenience store, right? That water bottle is going to be 99 cents, okay? If you pick up that same exact water bottle, same product, same label, same everything, and you place it in, let's say, a hotel, that water now goes from 99 cents to, let's say, $3.99, $2.99, right? You pick it up again, you take it over to, let's say, a sporting event. It's now $5.99. Pick it up again, bring it to a concert. It's now $6.99, right? Despite it being the exact same water bottle the entire time. And what this person was getting at is that the value that people saw in that water bottle, or in other words, the money that they were willing to spend for it, had nothing to do with the bottle itself. It had to do with the location or the environment that that bottle was in. So the story, what it's supposed to teach you here is that if you're a $6.99 water bottle, but you've placed yourself on the shelf of a convenience store, get up and go to a sporting event. And that's actually what it stands for. The V in VeVe stands for value. So topics are going to be a little all over the place in today's episode, but a lot of this did stem from my concern around the VeVeverse, and my concern and frustration around all that kind of, it gets amplified when you take stuff like this into consideration. So I used to do like collectible showcases, cinematic little videos showcasing different collectibles on the platform. I don't really do them anymore. And the only reason why I don't is because I'm just bored of the vault. There haven't been any vault improvements. We were waiting for web access for the longest time. We finally got it. Vault was available, and then they took it away, which made things even more discouraging. I want to create content because I want to create it, not because I feel like it's a chore or have to. I hope at the very least that if the VeVeverse is still going to take some time, you guys can reopen the web app, and then that way it can be a little bit more enjoyable as opposed to being on the mobile app where your phone's just going to explode. So after thinking this past week, I am going to be scaling back my memberships. So I will be reducing it to the first tier, which is just the loyalty badge. I'm going to be taking away other perks, but then also some perks are going to be open to just the general public. Okay, so Discord, I'm going to be opening to everybody. The more I thought about it, the more I was like, you know what, there's no reason to have a gate on it. So anybody who is interested in joining, we got free games, we got a leveling system, like-minded collectors, of course. We're going to have automated VeVe and 𝗬𝗵 news. We're going to have automated gaming, market, and Marvel news. There's items to collect from 𝗘𝗿𝗿𝗀𝗀 to Pokemon. We got group activities like Marvel Snap, channels for other projects like 𝗘𝗵𝗍𝗀𝗀𝗀, McFarlane, 𝗘𝗿𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, and more, as well as spaces for films, music, art, virtual building, and more. Now, the Discord is going to be used for future giveaways as well as stream participation. So I do also have a Fortnite channel in there. And then as for the GCU, or the Global Comics Universe, I have put that on pause until further notice. So just to be clear, I'm not walking away from VeVe. My post was never intended to make it seem that way, but I also didn't want to say something that I was going to regret. And so when I film these videos, guys, there's like 5 opportunities for me to take something out, from filming to cutting to editing to rendering to rewatching the video. So if I put something in the video, there's a very good chance it's because I meant to. So if there's any points in this video that upset anyone, or anyone wants any clarification around, my DMs are open. Okay, don't hesitate to reach out. In fact, I'd actually encourage it to avoid the confusion. I said I've had that concern with the VeVeverse for a little while now. I added those points about social media and the ad structure just to build on the video, but I'm going to extend the invite again. If any team members are willing to hop into a WebV space to address some of the points in this video, I would be more than willing to talk, and I think it would be a great opportunity to clear some of this stuff up. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. I'm not going to lie, I don't know how I feel about this one. I know my talking points were all over the place. I might have more to say in our next video. I might not. I really don't know if I got everything out, but if you guys enjoy the content, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you want to see in a future episode. And as for our next, I will catch you then.